how to streamline work, how to do things more effectively, more productively. So even if AI is
all right, here we go. Welcome on back to another stock market open live stream. Well, it's not really open anymore. We're beyond the open. But what's fascinating is we're getting a nice little taco rebound. The taco rebound started this morning when about at, it was like 6:18 a.m. Donnie T said, I'm not going to use force. I'm not going to use force against Greenland. It's really when the market started moving up. And this morning in our Alpha report, we talked about two trades. We talked about the NASDAQ 100 going up today on a rebound from 607, potentially all the way to 617 today, which we are on our way to that. So far, it's really kicking butt on the Alpha. And then the only other stock that we talked about in our actual Alpha report was that AMD would break out. And AMD has beautifully broken out right through 232. Excellent breakout over here. So really good here. Very excited to see this. So let's see, what else do we have? So now we've got Kenny G. Oh, here we go. There we go. Oh, interesting. Very well. Kevin forgot to hit the live button on YouTube. That's funny. Welcome back into another Stock Market Open Live. Just to catch you up, we've got a few really cool things happening this morning. First of all, we got Donald Trump starting to taco a little bit. You know, we're still going to get the Supreme Court slappage. Still going to get slapped upside the face by the Supreme Court on IEEPA tariffs. Those will go away. That'll create some uncertainty and some doubt in markets. But the NASDAQ, nice bounce off of 607. This morning in our Alpha report, and I think there's a George in the comments asking about the Alpha report. George, if you sign in with the same email that you used to buy the Alpha report, you should have no issue getting the Alpha report in the app. So if you have any issue, you could always email us at staff@meetkevin.com. But yeah, this morning in the Alpha report, we had two calls. We called for a Q's rebound, potentially all the way to 617, though not through it, with a bounce off of 607. And that's essentially exactly what we've got this morning. So the trade was a really good setup this morning for a rebound. And then the second call we made was a call that AMD would break out today. AMD not only broke through the 232 line yesterday, but just exploded today. Look at this, up almost 7%. And that was in our Alpha report this morning as a sexy call. Somebody writes in the chat, that was easy money. Somebody else writes, thanks, Trump. Yeah, Trump also, Trump U-turning on that, on the force suggestion is definitely seen as bullish, though it doesn't change. You know, I think that, you know, Trump got a little word from Bessent that, hey man, you need to you need to relax a little bit. You know, you need to you need to chill down a little bit with the aggressiveness. And I think this is Donald Trump's version of chilling out a little bit. But anyway, let's go jump into what some of the doomers and the boomers are saying. Did some more fundamental analysis as well this morning in our course live. You're welcome to see that in the stocks tab if you want to see the full analysis of that and our updated PEG ratios. So, yep, there it is. Not a surprise to me that the top of Bloomberg is Trump ruling out excessive force. That's exactly what I identified as the most important line from the Davos speech that I watched live as it was happening. Iran turns to crypto assets to offset real crisis. Oh, that's interesting. The central bank of Iran bought more than $500 million of digital assets. So, like, which kind? In the past year to mitigate the currency crisis. Wow. Central bank is literally buying crypto. Purchases of Tether. Wow. That's interesting. How interesting. During liberation. After the exchange was hacked, the flows converted to moved to several Iran's economy has been cut off due to sanctions, blah, blah, blah. That's fascinating. Now, what's that breaking news?
Details, David, we're seeing economic retaliation now from the European Parliament in response to U.S. aggression over Greenland. This is a statement that came in just in the past half hour or so. This is from Bernard Lang. He's the chair of the European Parliament's International Trade Committee regarding the EU-U.S. trade deal that was agreed to back in July. Remember, that would have lowered the 30% Liberation Day tariffs that President Trump initially started with on EU goods to 15%. Well, now the European Parliament is saying they're suspending work on considering that treaty. Here's the full statement. They say, given the continued and escalating threats, including tariff threats against Greenland and Denmark and their European allies, we have been left with no alternative but to suspend work on the two Turnberry legislative proposals until the U.S. decides to re-engage on a path of cooperation rather than confrontation and before any further steps are taken. The Turnberry legislative proposals are the EU trade deal as that would have been legislatively agreed to by the European Parliament. So the European Parliament here is saying now that in response to the U.S. on Greenland, it is going to suspend consideration of the EU-U.S. trade deal. So we'll see if the White House has any response to that as soon as we can reach out to folks who are traveling with the president.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to regularly see statements and complaints and arguments, from Europeans, because nobody wants these, this tariff warfare. So I don't think it's really particularly news, but it's going to take a little bit to get through all the taco for sure. All right, let's see here. Insurer Lemonade pitches Tesla drivers cheaper rates for FSD. Oh, that's brilliant. Really? Insurance provider Lemonade is rolling out automotive policies for users of Tesla's FSD seeking to capitalize on interest in the technology. The new plans will cut per mile rates by 50% when customers have FSD engaged. Wow, how do they track that? Lemonade says lower rates reflect what data shows as significantly reduced rates when the system is engaged. That's brilliant. Lemonade, but how do they collect this? Lemonade access to the startup said the product resulted from a technical collaboration with Tesla that gave Lemonade access to previously unavailable vehicle data. Wow. That's awesome. That's really cool. Well, I like seeing that. I actually think that's a smart move from Lemonade. What a great branding as well, by the way. All right, so what else do we have here? EU free. This is that trade deal. And what trade deal did they say this was? Trade deal between U.S. and European Parliament is on hold. Which trade deal is this? Oh, this is the tariff ratification vote. Oh, that is actually pretty big. That is actually a pretty big announcement. So all of the basically Parliament voting to confirm the trade deal the EU made is on hold until this Greenland drama is over. Interesting. The deal was struck in July. The agreement set a 15% tariff on most goods in exchange for a pledge to ease tariffs on U.S. industrial goods and ag goods. Still partially implemented, but still needs parliamentary approval. Wow. Wow. It's very interesting. Okay. So let's go back. Is the QQQ still going higher? Let's see. Oh, let's go, dude. Dude, the AMD call on the Alpha report this morning was lit. And the Qs are still going up too. That's great. Yeah, hey, if you're not in the Alpha report yet, remember, you can get that lifetime access at meetkevin.com. We're going to do another big price increase on January 28th, which is my birthday. That's soon. That's in, what, like less than a week now or something like that? Anyway, remember, you get all the 9 courses, every trade alert, every live stream, every Alpha report. All right. The Alpha report is, people seem to really like it. We do that every morning. All right, U.S. Supreme Court tells Trump he has discretion to fire Fed official. Ooh, let's see what we got going on here. Oh, this will be interesting. So, yeah, and then keep in mind, I just made a commitment that I'm investing $1 million additionally into HouseHack. So we are briefly reopening that investment round, just very briefly, until February 6th, just to give folks a final little chance to slide in. And then in response to that as well, I'm increasing the investment, because I was going to make it an investment at the end of the round. So we're increasing that from what I was going to do, like 100K or whatever, to $1 million. So I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, but anyway. U.S. tells Supreme Court Trump has discretion to fire Fed official. Roberts drilling down on whether and what circumstances you could reinstate a wrongly fired officer. Kagan presses on the lack of notice. Sawyer says all there has to be is cause. Yeah, I don't know how much notice there has to be. Yeah, it's still the same round, same value as before. And then the commitment I made is that if you invested already, you can add in increments of 10K. So I think that'll be interesting. We love the Alpha report because it makes our money back daily. Oh, thank you for saying that. Well, let's listen.
Supreme Court this hour over the legality of President Trump's push to fire Fed Governor Lisa Cook. It is a key test, of course, of Fed independence. Steve Leisman has been listening in, and he has some takeaways for us so far. Steve.
Thank you, David. Yeah, we are just in the first start of this, where John Sauer, the Solicitor General, is presenting the government's case about why the president has the right to fire Lisa Cook. And he contended that deceit is cause for removal. But overall, David, I would say I'm hearing skepticism from key justices, including Roberts and Barrett, about whether this accusation of mortgage fraud committed before Cook was a governor is enough to warrant emergency action by the court. Barrett asked if it mattered if Cook was accused of murder instead of mortgage fraud, to which Sauer responded, well, it matters to the reputation of the court. A lot of talk, of course, about whether she was given an opportunity to respond in a formal way. Sauer said she hadn't done so, and hadn't done so in public. Barrett asked about economists' contention that there would be a recession, to which Sauer responded the market went up the 3 days after Cook was fired. Sauer also said the president determined there would be irreparable harm to the public's perception of the Fed if Cook was allowed to remain in office. He was questioned on that, whether there was some sort of factual basis for the president determining or making that determination. Alito also asked why this has been done in such a hurry. Obviously, a very important case for the independence of the Fed, with the Fed chair in attendance. Dave will be continuing to listen, but we have not heard the Cook's side yet, and whether the justices are going to similarly be skeptical of Cook's argument as well.
How long do we think this will go on, Steve?
Well, we thought the arguments would be done in an hour, but they were still, as just a few minutes ago, peppering Sauer with pretty important questions. So it's unclear. But right now, it sounds like there's a lot of skepticism about this issue, whether or not the president was correct in his removal, where the law is on this issue.
Okay, Steve, thank you. Steve Leisman. Obviously,
Sure.
Given all of our coverage from Davos, a number of other things, we haven't really had a chance to focus on some of the movers in the market. Did want to note shares of Micron, AMD, ARM, Intel, all up very sharply. You can see that move in Intel, which is now approaching a $280 billion market value, Carl, of course, well off what were the lows.
Yeah. All right, cool. So let's take a peek here. Yeah, look at this. So AMD Now up 8%. I mean, it is absolutely rocketing right now. And then I pulled up the portion of our Alpha report this morning that had this. And so I talked about that false breakout at 232 yesterday and how I think it'll go back. In that AMD has been revving up to take this out. And I mean, it smashed right through. And that's why I wrote bullish AMD for ideal trades today. And then I wrote Q slowly back to 617, but not more than that. So like that'd be where my sell trigger is right there. It's possible we go through 617, but I think anything we go above 617 today is risky. Because we still got the Supreme Court decision lingering or whatever. Like I wouldn't be surprised to see the same kind of lunchtime. Because yesterday morning in the Alpha report, I said, hey, be careful around lunchtime. Any trade euphoria often gets sold out. And look at when we peaked out on the Qs yesterday. 11:41. That's when we peaked out. Lunchtime. And it was straight down from there. So watch lunchtime again today, and that's 617. I think that's pretty critical. But yeah, I mean, that was our, like, I don't know, for if somebody played that, either AMD or the Qs, probably have paid for your course and then some, and then you get lifetime access. But anyway, even just the AMD call, bullish AMD today. This is insane, 8%. And then this. But anyway, watch that 617 line. So anyway, what's going on with, let's see, Meta, 69 on Figure. Where is Tess? Where is that puppy? Tesla. Oh, Tesla went up to about 2. That's nice. So, didn't quite get down to 414 yesterday. Got down to 417. Did a little bit of pain yesterday. Next rejection here is 433. I don't think we'll break through that today. Not as much momentum here as there is on AMD. Okay, good. So, let's keep going. All right, so this is all on Cook. That's a little boring. Trump tabloid presidency is a recipe for chaos. Well, yeah. Let's see here. Why is America dismantling the Western alliance? Yeah. Pending home sales. Well, December is a slow, high-rate month. Or was. Let's see here. BYD is cheap. EVs are suddenly everywhere. Oh, for sure. Saw that coming too. Won't become a nation of renters. Oh yeah, he was going to talk about housing. Huge economic risk. Well, I want to see what this says. Battling AI slop is a top priority. Yeah, they have a little button now where you can say if your video is AI or not. Let's see. All right, let's see what we have. So, this is the tabloid presidency. Let's see here. What do they even got to say here? Fairly certain that President Trump and his inner circle run their administration. They yuck it up together each day, zeroing in on a fresh stash of incendiary statements or disruptive, sometimes abusive policy proposals meant to keep the world off balance. There isn't much linear planning. The goals are clear, but a cohesive strategy is absent. Shock and awe are the watchwords. Yeah. Whatever the opinions of Trump 2.0 might land for Republicans, Democrats, and observers, there's a nonpartisan, non-ideological truth at work here. This all amounts to an abysmal, perilous management. Top drawer CEOs wouldn't run companies this way. Conscientious governors wouldn't run states this way. Competent educators wouldn't run schools this way. Blah, 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 blah. blend of free-form irrationality, unpredictability, narcissism, and lawlessness, unquenched neediness isn't a recipe for managerial success. Wow, talk about trying to hose Trump here. Trump is having none of this. 1 year ago changed everything. He said the return of strength, blah, blah, blah. Okay, what else? Does he have any bottom line on this? Wrecking ball to federal agencies. Yeah, we saw that. ICE. Okay, what we're seeing in the Oval Office is anything but leadership. The old school WWN folks would have had a field day with this material, and they wouldn't have to invent any of it. But basically, they're calling it a clown show. Comments. Seem to have forgotten how this country handled COVID under Trump. Oh, okay, going back to that. Wow, T1 Trump. All right. Got it. So that's just complaining. Dismantling the Western Alliance. The administration's appetite for breaking things appears to have few limits. The latest principle to be thrown aside, don't humiliate your friends for no reason, might be the most consequential to date. By threatening escalating tariffs against European nations unless they let the U.S. take possession of Greenland, the administration is crippling NATO. But I think that's what Trump wants. I think that's his point. The U.S., to be sure, must have defensible reasons to take advantage of Greenland's strategic position, but its goals could have been fully served by cooperating with willing partners. Denmark and European allies were open to closer military cooperation. The administration's approach instead will inflict damage that is difficult to repair and could well be permanent. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you saw that. Who was it? I think Besant complained about the Deutsche Bank guy. Here. Besant says Deutsche Bank CEO called to distance bank from analyst's Greenland report. U.S. Treasury Secretary Besant said in Davos that the CEO called him to say the bank did not stand by an analyst report. See, this is that knee bending, because Deutsche Bank, this is like classic knee bending, dude. I hate this stuff, dude. I absolutely find this disgusting. This is disgusting knee bending because the CEO of DB doesn't want to get punished by Trump for an analyst speaking the truth. So you have an analyst at Deutsche Bank that says, hey, Europeans might buy fewer U.S. treasuries if you guys are idiots. And the CEO has to call Besant. Hey, guys, we didn't mean it. We didn't mean it. And this is like, that's bad. It's rigged, man. It's stupid. I hate that stuff. The CEO called and doesn't stand by the report, blah, blah, blah. Wall Street banks face pressure from Trump, who hit Goldman Sachs saying the bank was wrong to predict that tariffs would hurt the economy, questioned whether Solomon should lead the institution. Yeah, they're all shaking in their boots. Raise the possibility Europeans... In a Sunday note, raised the possibility that European investors sell U.S. assets in response to President Trump's threats. Right. We generally do not comment on the potential communication of the bank and government representatives. Bank is independent. Research knows. Blah, 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 blah. I think it's wild. Like, I hate seeing stuff like that. All right, what else? Let's see here. This approach to rejection, pretension of partnership, historic allies might prefer to bend again. Some European governments might prefer to bend again, partly to prevent an outright war. Right. Yeah, and I think people are just trying to buy time, honestly. Cement is hitting a wall. Yeah, I think it's almost easier to just comply with Trump and then run the clock out. AI contagion channels show huge economic risks if bubble bursts. Huh. How are we doing over here? Oh, dude, we're almost at 617. Let's go. Line to line this morning, called in the Alpha report. Oh, 9% on AMD. Let's freaking go. Let's go. That's awesome. This is green tea, dumb. Okay, let's see what this is. This is interesting. Investors have poured billions of... Okay, I don't want to read the summary. AI boom. Sharp drop in valuations would have dire consequences for the credit market, according to Moody's. Big tech firms said to hit $500 billion in data center investments this year. Some investors have warned that the market is too exuberant. In a new report, Moody's stopped short of declaring it a bubble. I want to see this. Let's actually go to the report. Moody's. Can't find it. All right then. Let's see here. Where'd it go? There it is. Stop short of declaring a bubble, but they do map out a scenario where valuations of AI-related companies fall by 40% in the coming months. The report also describes contagion channels that would funnel the pain of other parts of the economy, from banks to pension funds. Let me see if I could find this in another place. Moody's. Let me see here. Excuse me. I don't think I usually get Moody's, but I will look. No. Moody's. No, not here. Take a peek here. Maybe here. Moody's. No. All right. Well, I'll look for it later, or look more for it later, but we'll just keep going with what their bottom line is for right now. And that was here. 40% drop. The report also describes the contagion channels that would funnel the pain back to other parts of the economy, from banks to pension funds to the U.S. consumer. If the bubble were to pop, private credit managers backing AI firms would need to negotiate lending terms to avoid defaults and pause the deployment of new capital. Right. So this would be bad for chips. Rapidly bad. Losses accrued in private funds, many of which are thinly traded, wouldn't come to light until investors tried to pull their cash. Of course. It's one of the reasons why I've been a fan of diversifying. If somebody writes memory is in huge demand. Yeah, we've done quite a bit of fundamental analysis on the memory chips. Just have to know it's late cycle. That's important to remember, that memory is the last part of the boom. Somebody writes, owning RAM will be like owning physical gold. Okay, here's a challenge for you. Write down that quote on a Post-it note And then I think I will make the bet that that quote will age like milk before that Post-it note falls off your wall. RAM is not gold. RAM goes through massive commodity cycles. RAM is a commodity that's going through a shortage right now. And it's happened many times before. It goes parabolic, and then it has the most disastrous collapse in valuations and margins over and over and over again. So no, memory is not gold. Memory is being treated like gold temporarily because of shortages, but it won't last. So just be careful about that. I'm not saying, be bearish on this stuff now, but buckle up. Losses accrued to private fund. Okay, that's fine. So this is interesting. AI ecosystem deterioration. AI bubble correction would impact a broad range of organizations. I can't read stuff like this. Let me, I have to be able to write on this. Otherwise, I don't want to look at it. I'm not really good at just reading things without writing on them. It's kind of why when I read physical books, I do the same thing. I have to write all over them. The worst were when teachers were like, don't write in the textbook. I'm like, how am I supposed to learn? An AI bubble correction would impact a broad range of organizations. Okay, so let's understand this. So AI ecosystem deterioration, lower valuations, private credit, which we could see. Well, let's look at Oracle. Let me go here. Somebody writes RAM is gold equals peak. Hold on a sec. Oh, come on. There you go. I want to see what CDSs are at now. It's going to take me a second. Okay. All right. So, it'll just take me a second. Okay, so Oracle CDSs. Oracle CDS 5-year line. Here we go. Always takes a second to get this to come up, Oh yeah, dudes. Oh no. Okay, I will share a picture of it. Coming back, baby. Alright, let's see here. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna pull up this screenshot so you can see it. It's got to come over from a Windows PC, but I got it. Actually, I'm able to beam files over pretty quickly. Pretty proud of doing that. Not like it's a big deal or technical thing, but I think it's cool. I could get a file from Windows to this with a local, it's just a local network file, like a shared folder. But it's so convenient. But anyway, this was the peak right here in mid-December. We are going back towards peak. So these are credit default swaps on Oracle rising again. So those private credit issues, they're not, while, how should I put this? While we're not talking about them right now, the issues are still there. Private credit and Oracle CDSs, the issues are still there, just dormant right now. 5-year here. Let's see here. 5-year CDS here indicates the the concerns are worsening, not improving. Right. Very interesting. Explain this to a 5-year-old? Okay. 5-year-old might be hard. Maybe how about 5th grader? Yeah, I'll go with 5th grader. 5th grade take, okay? So, how should I do this? Okay, let's do this. Let's say you have a farm and grow apples. What if a storm comes and kills all your apples? You go bankrupt, run out of money, business done. Okay? Not good, right? Not good. Not good. Then, a company, or before that, but a company comes to you and says, I'll offer you insurance. If a storm comes and kills all your apple trees, I'll pay you enough to stay in business. Okay? In exchange, I want some money now. You know, that company. I'll say, but I come to you, okay? There we go, do that way. If many people come to me to buy insurance, the cost of my insurance goes up. This is the chart of that insurance. This is the chart of that insurance. And it's the highest level. It is now the most expensive since 2008. It is the most expensive since 2008. Right? There. Is that an okay 5th grade take? So it's basically insurance against disaster and the price of that insurance, right? I don't know. I think that's acceptable. All right. So let's see here. AI Buble. All right, so AI news. Let's drop that in there. AI bubble concerns reported by Moody's. Quick check first of Oracle CDSs first. Let's slap those into here. Boom. There we go. Now we could share it with the world. Remember, you can get all this crap for free. You know, I put this crap out for free in the Meet Kevin app. So if you just download the Meet Kevin app, you could see all this stuff, like all these charts and stuff. It takes a long time to put all this crap together. And I think it's quite useful. Like here it is on the iPad, right? So forgive that camera, I gotta move it. Maybe I can just reach over and do it right now. There we go. You know, it's all in this little app. You get it on your phone. You can get it on Android if you want. But I mean, there's a lot of freaking data that goes into here, and links and resources and stuff. I don't know. I think it's very interesting. But it's a pain in the butt to put it together. But I actually enjoy it. It helps me. So let's go back to this chart. So we looked at CDSs. You know, we can evaluate risk here to some extent. Some of this we can measure with CDSs. Some, you know, not everything, obviously. Other stuff we are concerned about, you know, obviously other, how should we put them, private credit failures. Like we saw, you know, SEP to November 2025. There was quite a wave there of failures, right? So private credit failures, private equity, venture capital, shares, all of this, lower valuations, credit losses. This is also why, and I'm not trying to shill HouseHack or whatever. We did open the investing round again, just the same valuation until February 6th, just to get some stragglers in, including myself, actually. But anyway, what's interesting here is debt. Debt is what kills all of these. And a lot of these are built on debt, which makes sense because people don't want to be left behind with growth. So they think, I got to go spend, Is the pay in 4 membership every 3 months? Because when I go to checkout, it says, I think pay in 4 is not pay for a year in 4. I think it is pay in 4 months. I believe I know what you're talking about at the website. Yeah, that's like if you use the Klarnas or whatever. Thanks for asking. If you have any more questions, you're always welcome. I feel bad you had to send $5 to ask that. But just email us at staff@mekevin.com. Kevin, do you play WoW Classic or retail? Well, I haven't played World of Warcraft in years, but I used to back when Lauren was pregnant with Jack. She'd sleep in because pregnancy wears on you, and I would play World of Warcraft on Australian servers because it was like nighttime over there. So I had a lot of fun doing that. But I mean that was back in like 2014. So financial institutions, banks. Okay, we get this. And this is basically they're just trying to show this is the worry, right? We have no capacity for layoffs. Weekly jobs at 8K ADP is on the edge, right? So that's not great. Reduced spending, it basically hits everything. Stranded assets, utilities. 100%. 100% utilities will overdevelop. Even Jensen, it says 524. I don't know what you're talking about. It says 524 a month. Hold on, let me go see what you're talking about. Let me see what you're talking about. 524. Yeah, I see what you're saying. The wording isn't actually very clear. It is per month. Like, I don't know why the per month is missing. It always used to say per month, so I think that accidentally got removed. But yeah, I mean, if you pay in 4, it's that amount times 4 on a monthly basis. So what I'll go do is I'll go adjust that. You're right. It should say /month. So that is a mistake. I'm adjusting that right now. So it always used to. Let me see what happened. Well, it doesn't matter what happened. It just matters that I change it. Publish. That I could see that being confusing because it makes it seem like the one is a cheaper option. The pay in 4 is more expensive. Yeah, there you go. So this is they're asking about the Alpha report. So 524 times 1585, 2096, 1585 divided by 2096. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah. So see here, this is the Alpha report. So if you buy the Alpha report with the B-Day coupon before it expires, it's $15.85 if you pay in full. But if you want to pay in 4, it's $524 a month for 4 months. I guess I should say pay in 4. Well, I mean, I think that's more explanatory now. That does clear it up. That was confusing without having the /MO, so that's solved. Okay, good. So back to this. Yeah, remember ADP data, nobody talked about it yesterday, but ADP data came out yesterday. Somebody says, who buys this? Well, actually, a lot of people buy it. We're really grateful for it, but I mean, I think we do a really good, hour course member stream every single day doing fundamental analysis on stocks. People watch it on 2X. I think we got 3,000 or 4,000 people who watch the course member live streams on a regular basis. We have no capacity for layoffs. Weekly jobs came in at 8K. That was ADP yesterday. That's true. I mean, this is just a typical economic cycle right here that they're talking about. reduce spending, discretionaries, it hits everything. I mean, this is very normal. I don't think this is a surprise, but I will title this, or I'll just screenshot this. AI bubble contagion. Totally. Really what it does is it just shows you how the velocity of money works, right? So Moody's starts with a chart explaining / showcasing the velocity of money. That's really what that is. Shows you how a little bit of money moves from one side, around the whole ecosystem. Okay, good. Okay, that's that. Now let's go see the rest of that. I was right. How do I get out of this? Oh, there we go. Okay. Redemptions from open-ended private credit vehicles could be hit by withdrawal limits and trigger suspensions. Yeah, I mean, we see that regularly when there are problems. Somebody writes, it's actually worth the money. Makes fundamentals and overall macro for the day easy. Oh, well, thank you for saying that. Appreciate that. Okay. Pension funds holding stocks tied to AI and infrastructure would be at risk. Many have shifted to passive investing strategies. A market crash could create litigation risk for insurers. Meanwhile, U.S. consumers could pull back on spending, feeling poorer after the drop in the equity market. 100%. I'm a 5.9 on the bear bull scale. So still like that cautious optimism. Taco Tuesday was yesterday though? No, yesterday was, unfortunately, it came a day late. Taco Tuesday came a day late. Because of the holiday. Oh my gosh, look at that curve. Like right at 617, you gotta be kidding me, bro. It's exactly what we called. We'll see how the rest of the day goes, but that's crazy. Referral codes for the Alpha Report, I'd advertise all day long. Oh, we can probably figure something out. You just email staff@meetkevin.com and then give us a day to figure it out. That's crazy though. Okay, let's keep going over here. But I appreciate you wanting to refer it. Somebody said, I made $6K off Tesla option credit spreads recently. He called the top in Alpha Report. Oh, that was in Tesla, yeah. I think I was within 3 days of the exact top of it, over the last 30 days. Because when it was at all-time highs, I'm like, this is not sustainable. I mean, we did a whole spiel on it, much more than that. But there's a whole lot of rationale in that. But thank you for mentioning that one. Okay, so let's focus on that. I got to get through this article, man. Yeah, have you checked Bloom Energy? Sorry, I keep reading comments. I actually have checked Bloom Energy. You're gonna hate how I answer it, but if you're part of the Alpha Report, you can just click Bloom Energy, and then you get the whole thing. Here, I'll give you a preview on it. This is what I wrote for Bloom Energy. It's a 1.72 peg. It says they've got cash. Momentum is very high, which obviously makes it sensitive. It's up 4x since the OBB passed. It's an OBB play, big beautiful bill play. The balance sheet is actually very strong. They ramped up their marketing in the last quarter. Wall Street expects they're going to grow earnings per share by 85% each year over the next 3 years, which is crazy. They have 35% gross margin, which is really actually great for a manufacturer of energy products, like, the fuel cell products that they make. So, they burn $110 million a quarter of cash. They issue some stock, but they have $1 billion in cash plus $700 million in inventories and $400 million in bills. So their balance sheet is really good. You've got a $600 million delta between bills and cash that they have. So you can burn money for a little bit here. They burn $100 million a quarter, so you've got 6 quarters worth of dough right here, and the product growth is absolutely blowing up. So it's kind of remarkable. I think it's really cool. what we're able to do with this. I think it's very exciting. So, yeah. Anyway, that's just an example of how you can kind of look up that sort of research yourself. But that's what you unlock when you're that alpha member. All right, let me get through this freaking article. I keep getting distracted myself. The spillover risk is due in large part to the various ways AI boom has been funded. Lenders across private and public markets invested in AI directly with the build out of data centers, private credit, taps banks. Some of them are the biggest financiers of the industry. Yeah, right. The non-bank financial system. Yeah, I get it. First half, more than half of all invested venture capital funds went to AI startups. Of course, it makes sense. This is why this is another reason I'm throwing $1 million into HouseHack right now, because, we're still raising money at the non-AI valuation. Now, I don't know, what our AI valuation will be. I mean, maybe somebody will look at our AI and be like, oh, this is worth $20 a share, or somebody will be like, this is worth $0 a share. I don't know what they're going to say, right? But at least in practice, what I'm seeing with the product, which is out, I mean, you could buy the product before you invest. It's an early beta release, it's only a fraction of what's coming. But it's kind of interesting. Banks rarely lend to such firms directly. They do through, this is the intermediaries. A weak earnings report from an AI giant will increase doubts that AI labs like OpenAI or Anthropic will generate significant cash. Isn't OpenAI starting to do ads now? I think that's what they said. I saw that. OpenAI advertisements. OpenAI to begin testing ads. Yeah, here we go. Key details. OpenAI lines up advertisers. I wonder if OpenAI will take advertisements from Gemini. That'd be so hilarious. How much do you want to pay to advertise to our customers? I think that'd be funny. Offering its new chatbot ads to dozens of advertisers. Dozens. Start off the companies charging on the basis of ad views as opposed to clicks. By the way, I have to say, I want to give you a quick cheat sheet just because I love you, okay? Quick cheat sheet. And this is Kevin's quick LLM cheat sheet. This is just my experience. There's no data on this, but I want to give you some quick little notes here, okay? Gemini Pro with DeepThink is overpowered. Big fan as my daily driver. Okay, Claude is really good at image infographic generation. Really like that. And then I would argue that GPT is excellent at document review, regularly catching things Gemini misses. But, Gemini will recommend things GPT doesn't, right? So you have to use multiple of them. So, you use all of them. Use all. But quick little LLM cheat sheet. I think that's just a fair little freebie for those of you who come watch Kevin yap live. Yap live! Yes, the app is live. Oh, yapping live. Oh. Generate significant cash flows, but we're the information piece. Right here. OpenAI is asking a small pool of advertisers for less than $1 million in spending commitments over the next few weeks as a trial period. For they are so out of cash, man. They are so out of cash. I don't use Grok. Yeah, sorry. Company does not yet offer technology for advertisers to easily buy ads themselves, but working with getting self-service ads up and running. Yeah, I mean, you could program a little portal or whatever to do that. Is there an LLM search engine type thing that will use all of them and give you an aggregated answer? There are, it's Battles one. I don't know, there's one like the AI Battles one or whatever. The issue that I found with them is they don't use the bleeding edge models, right? So they'll use the fast. You'll get OpenAI 04 or like what is it, GPT 4.0, right? They'll put like 4.0 versus like the fast model at Gemini, and you're just not getting the deep think reasoning models competing against each other. So I'll have a conversation in one, then take that conversation, throw it into another one, and go, what is this person missing? I'll always say, what is this person missing? I always think it's kind of funny. And I go, that person is missing this, and then I'll take that response and throw it back into the original, like Gemini. And Gemini like, oh, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. Now that I think about it, yeah, you could do that too. And it's great. I love it. I think it's fantastic. Yeah. So, OpenAI start testing ads. The tightly managed rollout comes as OpenAI is trying to grow revenue from ads and shopping without alienating people who might find chatbots intrusive or distasteful. Right. We'll see about that. Quickly building an ad business could strengthen OpenAI's pitch to raise as much as $100 billion. Yeah, because they need the money. Advertisers, agencies say they've been intrigued about the prospects of buying ads thanks to weekly active users. Yeah, and that's starting to decline, though. OpenAI gave examples of what ads could look like. Particular sauce brand, when somebody looks up a recipe. Company will show ads to users on the free version as well as those paying $8 per month. Oh, that's right. They just added that, right? Yeah, just added. I think they call that GPT Go. GPT Go. Somebody writes, made 200% on QQQ calls today. Let's freaking go, dude. Congratulations. That's awesome. I'm happy about that. There you go. We'll pin you. All right, GPT Go. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Here it is. So, free Go. More messages, more uploads, more image creation, blah, 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 blah. And then, obviously, you got the pro models over here. Whatever. Okay. So, somebody says they hallucinate too much for you to do real work. Yeah, you're probably on the shit models, honestly. I'm not trying to bag on you. I'm just saying, like, if you haven't tried the expensive models, like, these are going to hallucinate less. These will hallucinate less. These over here will hallucinate a lot more. The fast models will definitely hallucinate. And so the more you pay, the less hallucination you get. I hate to say it, but that's the business model, right? So, yeah. Smart Google devices are getting dumber. Can't even turn my lights on correctly. Honestly, I just had an issue where I upgraded our Wi-Fi security and then I lost like half of my smart devices because of that. So I actually had to make a dumb Wi-Fi network. So you have like 2 doors to your house. So it's sort of like, a really strong Wi-Fi network with the best security or whatever. And then you have to have like a firewalled, which you can set up firewalls pretty easily for them, but you have a firewalled, like, lower security one, like a WPA2 versus WPA3, just as an example. A lot of these smart home devices or TVs, they won't use WPA3. So you're basically downgrading your security for these smart devices. I hate it. So then you have to firewall off, the crappier SSID. And it's endless, dude. It's absolutely endless. Still, the company didn't explain the details of how GPT ads would be priced. Behind the scenes, has largely kept a lid on the details. 5 people working on buying ads said they've been reached out, but haven't heard. I wonder if Trade Desk can help them. Like, imagine if Trade Desk did a partnership with them. But Trade Desk... let me see here. Because I know they're showing inventory. But you could... See, I wonder if they could advertise, the inventory that they... because they're advertising... Yeah, because if you put OpenAI inventory on Trade Desk, that would be brilliant. Because then people can go to Trade Desk and buy the inventory, and then OpenAI doesn't have to make their own, right? Let me go see. Let's go. I want to grab their earnings call. Because Trade Desk has gotten ruined. But it's mostly because everybody keeps making their own platforms. And I think that's what they talked about here as well. Building an ad business, yeah. Well, here. Well, no, they need... There. The company doesn't yet offer technology for advertisers to easily buy ads themselves. Trade Desk does this, but is working on getting self-service ads up and running. Right? Like, they could do this with a company like Trade Desk. But I wonder if Trade Desk is going to, if they've mentioned, if they've hinted at anything. Because sometimes you'll see hints. Let's go find out. Trade Desk, TDD, Trade Desk, earnings call. Open. Okay, let's go try LLM, language, no, open, AI, nope, open AI, artificial, chat, like chatbots. Google is clearly focused on search, their AI chatbot, Gemini, and YouTube. Oh, this is just where they're talking about, you know, how they're maybe distracted or whatever. And a different TAM. Our TAM has grown significantly. Oh! Look at this hint. Look at this right here. Let's take a step back and provide some context. So far in 2025 has been a year of innovation and change for our industry. The change in landscape has created amazing upgrades to our business and our industry. Compared to last year, our TAM has grown significantly. Why? Including expansion from CTV and chatbots. Chatbots. That's a hint. Expansion from chatbots. Right? Trade Desk TAM has expanded from chatbots. That's what I'm gathering here. Now that's very interesting. Now I don't know if that's a hint that they're in discussions. Does that mean Trade Desk has discussions with chatbots or chatbot firms? Or is this a hope, right? That's very interesting to me. Dude, look at that reject. That's crazy. All right. Trade Desk. Oh, this is the lowest Trade Desk has been trading since since COVID. Oh, man. What's the valuation on this puppy? Oh, that's cute. Let's go to, what am I trying to do? Stocks, Trade Desk. Trade Desk. Trade Desk has a valuation of under a 1 peg right now. Wow. So what's their market cap? $17 billion market cap. And what do we have on the balance sheet? I don't have the full balance sheet here. Let me go pull them up. Trade Desk. Okay, here we go. So let's just take a quick look at their balance sheet. What's their equity? Shareholder equity, 2.6 billion. So they're definitely selling for. I mean, there's no like. It's not like they're selling for a huge discount on their assets. Yeah, they're not. So there's no like major discount here, but the earnings are okay. But this is interesting for Trade Desk. You know, revenue's still growing. They're still growing top line divided by 628. Why is this airdropping? I don't know. Oh, I think I just hit the same document again, the earnings call. That's fine. But lock that. So, revenue is 739 divided by 628. Yeah, 17.6% growth. What's the forecast? So, current forecast. That's an interesting hint, though, I will say. Financials. Expected to grow revenue by about 15%. I don't think Wall Street is seeing any kind of like big boom there from chatbot integration, but I do think it's very interesting. I'm gonna put a little note of that. So, note about chatbot TAM, possibly as OpenAI is looking to sell ads. Okay, slap that in here. And then let's update the value really quickly on it. Because if I go to Trade Desk, give me a second here. Trade Desk, we are looking at EPS. Oh, EPS has gotten written down. Wait, no, I'm sorry. 207. No, it hasn't changed. Okay, and then forecast 13.3 plus 20 plus 18.9 divided by 3, 17.4. That's basically the same thing. So nothing's changed over here on the valuation. So yeah, it's still a one peg. Wall Street is only showing. Wall Street is forecasting top line revenue. Top line growth around 15%. Doesn't seem like any AI chatbot TAM is in the forecasts. This is an interesting one. Would be a game changer for the stock. If OpenAI partnered with Trade Desk to get advertisers, major game changer for Trade Desk. Pure speculation, obviously. Speculation at this point, of course. And I wouldn't say they're particularly cheap. I mean, valuation-wise, they're cheap. Which I remember I did my report on them in January. Right here, January of 2025. I turned bearish on Trade Desk. I didn't get the top, but I did turn bearish right around here because we did a live stream on them specifically. Wow, dude. Look at the Qs, man. Oh my gosh, man. Lunchtime and 617 reversal. Oh, man. If only there was like a morning report. All right. That would have told us that. Oh, wait, there is. Lutnick heckled at Davos as Lagarde walks out. What a badass for her to walk out on him. I actually think it's hilarious. Commerce Secretary Lutnick was heckled at the World Economic Forum. Well, because he's a nutlick, you know? Like, he doesn't give Trump any kind of critical information. It's whatever you want, Trump. You're the greatest, Trump. It's like, yeah, where's the pushback? But Trump loves that, you know? He thrives off of that. We're here at Davos to make one thing crystal clear. With President Trump, capitalism has a new sheriff in town. I mean, how to just piss everybody off, huh? One of the hecklers was Al Gore. Well, probably because of the coal comment. Only one person booed, and it was Al Gore. They actually probably will see that as a benefit. He says he didn't interrupt, though. But, you know, that's a funny story. The Trumps will love that. Okay. Think you saw it to stabilize world economic forum. Polarized world, blah, blah, blah. That's just entertaining. Comments. Good. Nobody should feel compelled to indulge in the goons any longer. Lutnick himself is particularly unimpressive. Who speaks like this? Oh, that is a particularly unimpressive person. Who talks like that? An AI bot, maybe. Jeez, man. All right. What else? Economists. Trump is irritating his populist Europeans. Make Europe great again. Patriots.eu. American adventurism is unsettling China. Well, that's also what Trump wants, to some extent. Only 29% of Americans support the U.S. purchasing Greenland. Interesting. According to The Economist. Let's see here. You see, frustrated by Trump's goals, he stalled Trump's efforts to force a Hong Kong-based company to sell 2 ports in Panama. Today, the world looks more unsettling. Let's see. Trump's threat to curb China's presence in the Western Hemisphere puts many Chinese interests at risk. Ports, satellites, billions of dollars of trade, spy base in Cuba. Iran supplied 12% of China's oil imports last year. Oh, that's interesting. I want to write that one down. That's very interesting. All right. Keep note of that. I'll just call this geopolitics. Iran supplied 12% of China's oil last year. Oh, very interesting. She hopes that Trump's adventurism will backfire, embroiling America in multiple crises. You know, well, they're sort of just waiting to see when the backlash hits. China understands that appeasing Trump does not guarantee modernization. Let's see here. 2 leaders are planning to meet in April. China lacks the capabilities to pull off an armed intervention in Latin America. Sure. I don't think we're expecting any of that. The biggest buyer of Chinese weapons in South America, Venezuela, is now a cautious tale. Oh, wow. Given the apparent failure of Chinese-made air defense radars. That's really interesting. China, Venezuela. I didn't know that. Biggest buyer of Chinese weapons in South America, Venezuela. Oopsies. Big oops after Venezuelan raid. Bad press. Bad advertising, right? Let's see here. China's status as Venezuela's biggest oil buyer is also give them bargaining power. Okay. Limited demand for Venezuela's sticky sulfurous crude. Chinese companies are embedded in Venezuela's infrastructure. Mobile phones rely on the Chinese. Fatherland card system, which is used to track voting patterns, monitor social media, and ration food. Yeah, it would take China to deploy something like that. Now it depends on China even more because there's no plan to restore democracy in Venezuela. Well, that makes sense because he kind of pulled off the classic Trump move. Thank you. This is very interesting. Let me listen to this for a moment.
That's an advantage. Then if you are not an incumbent, then you got to have a product that's a lot more attractive, or why would people switch over to using something else? So that's going to play into a role. You got to decide, are you more of an enterprise player or more of a consumer player? And as the world has shown us, total amount of debt is important. So some of these players are doing it out of their cash flow.
Yep.
Hard to believe they could lose. Some of them are taking on
Hard to
incredible
believe they could
amounts of
lose.
debt from the markets to go do it. That's always been a question.
Riskier?
So I use the phrase, many will survive, some will disappoint.
You think the ones that are borrowing, the OpenAIs, for instance?
I'm not going to take any names, but those who are borrowing, I think, is a riskier proposition than those who don't borrow.
Do you think the level of investment sustains throughout this year?
I think that the level of total investment, there are also announced investments versus real investments. If I look at the announced investments, I think that is way too high because there isn't an economic return for that much investment.
Arvind Krishna, CEO of IBM, with his thoughts on AI, which is a growing part of their book of business.
Right. So what else? Let's see here. Elsewhere, China can take steps to blah, blah, blah. All right. Where was, by the way, that other... We were still doing that Moody's piece. Did we finish that? I think we did, actually. Wait, did we? No, I don't know if we finished that. Let's go see here. No, we didn't. Microsoft Alphabet would be limited. Yeah, I actually agree that Google would be one of the least affected in a bubble. Yes, those companies would have an opportunity to buy AI startups at a discount. I totally agree with that. Yeah. Probably going to get streamlined. A handful of companies that will be able to claim superior returns. Yep. I agree with that. Who's Emily? Emily's going to tell us about AI. Well, I want to hear more about AI. All right. Stock set for best since November. Summer hits out at Trump, vowing not to cave on Greenland. Griffin calls for Trump clarity on legal immigration. Diamond says Trump's plan to cap credit card rates would spell economic disaster. Yeah. I mean, we've heard this from multiple banks already. OpenAI CFO defends ads in GPT as a strong business model. Is this becoming a problem now? Men's Warehouse slaps a 10% yield on junk bond to fund dividend. So to fund their dividend, they're raising debt. Yeah, that's sustainable. That's very sustainable. Not. All right. Companies create strong... oh, Sarah. Oh, I remember this lady. She was the one asking for government guarantees. Mm-hmm. We don't forget. Mm-hmm. AGI is the benefit of humanity. Yeah, whatever. This is such marketing, man. No AGI. Chop on. Firm's executives are under pressure to justify their ambitions as well as their valuation. Company said its annual revenue grew to $20 billion in 2025. The problem is, how with $20 billion are you spending, 1.4 trillion? I mean, what's the down payment on that? That's 20 divided by 1.4 annual basis. So 1.4% down payment. That's crazy. And you're not even netting 20 bill to invest. You're probably paying that to server costs and employees. That's crazy. Like when OpenAI fills out a loan application and people are like, yo, what's your debt to income? They just go, yes. Nice. Perfectly off of 617. So what started this? This was at, lunchtime. Same thing. 11:30. Same thing. All right. Let's see what else. Okay. Here we go. Okay. That was Trade Desk. That was that. Okay. OpenAI doing the ads. We saw that. Let's see what else the information has today. Oh, there was a, I think George Noble put out a big hit piece on him. Noble. Let's see here. George Noble. Let's see here.
In the world, like access to.
Wait, what? Hold on a second. Look at this. Last resort? No way.
I kind of think of ads as like a last resort for us for a business model. I would do it if it meant that was the only way to get everybody in the world like access to great services. But if we can find something that doesn't do that, I'd prefer that.
So that's obviously an older speech that they gave. That's funny. That's hilarious. And now they're doing ads.
Conference call with analysts in April 2001.
No, 2001 compared. Wait, this guy's hilarious.
The first cracks in Skilling's public image appeared in a conference call with analysts in April 2001.
And then Jeff Skilling took questions. And about midway through the session, there was a questioner who was sort of aggressively wondering out loud why it was that Enron, as a financial services company, in effect, could not release a balance sheet with its earnings statement like most financial institutions do.
You're the only financial institution that can't produce a balance sheet or a cash flow statement with their earnings.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Asshole.
And then quite audibly, you could hear Skilling say, asshole.
And then he said, asshole.
As I understand, you call him an asshole.
If I could go back and redo things, I would not now have used the term that I used.
Wow. Okay. Little extreme comparison there. Okay. And so here is his thread that just recently went viral. OpenAI is falling apart in real time. I've watched companies implode for decades. This one has all the warning signs. OpenAI declared code red in December. Altman sent an internal memo telling employees to drop everything because Gemini is eating their lunch. Well, yeah, it's pretty good. You know, you gotta give him credit. Okay. All right. Altman sent an internal memo. Okay, we saw that. GPT traffic fell in November, the second month-over-month decline in 2025. Meanwhile, Gemini jumped to 650 million. The company that was supposed to build AGI can't keep its chatbot competitive. I mean, this is true. But the real story is the money. OpenAI lost $12 billion in a single quarter, according to Microsoft's financial disclosures. Deutsche Bank estimates $143 billion in cumulative negative cash flow before the company turns profitable. Well, this is all the way out to like 2030 or something like that, right? Their analysts put it bluntly, no startup in history has operated with losses on anything approaching this scale. Right. They're burning $15 million per day on Sora alone, $5 billion annually to generate copyright infringing memes. Even Sora's lead engineer admitted the economics are currently unsustainable. Here's the big math problem nobody wants to discuss. It's going to cost 5x the energy and money to make these models 2x better. The low-hanging fruit is gone. I agree with that. It's a a logarithmic kind of. It's an S-curve that turns logarithmic. So it's like at this exponential and then logarithmic change. Basically, they're gonna have to spend a lot more to get a little bit better. There. Every incremental improvement now requires exponentially more compute. Yeah. GPT-5 launched to widespread disappointment. Users called it underwhelming. Whatever. Altman promised 5 would make 4 feel mildly embarrassing. Instead, users complained it was worse. Talent exodus is even worse. Murati's gone. Research officer gone. Ilya's gone. Greg Brockman gone. Half the AI safety team departed. Is that true? I have to look at that. They cited psychological abuse under Altman. Now Musk is suing for $134 billion. A federal judge just ruled that the case could go to trial. Well, they just didn't go for summary judgment, or failed at summary judgment. That's fine. Musk provided funding early. OpenAI called it harassment. Judge disagreed. AI hype cycle is peaking. Diminishing returns are becoming impossible to hide. Competitors are catching up. Lawsuits are piling up. OpenAI needs to generate $200 billion in annual revenue by 2030 to justify their projections. 15x growth in 5 years while costs keep exploding. Even Sam admitted investors are overexcited about AI. His exact words are, somebody's going to lose a phenomenal amount of money. Yeah, himself. If I were running an AI startup with good traction right now, I'd be looking for an exit. Oh, wow. Sell to the hype before the music stops. My positioning. I'm not touching OpenAI adjacent plays at these valuations. Right. At these high AI valuations, basically, is what he's saying. Oh, he's basically saying, like, if you get cash out at, like, a peak market AI valuation, why not? Right. Consider trimming MagSev. Gap between promised revolution and delivered reality has never been wider. Smart money is rotating in sectors where valuations actually reflect fundamentals. Small to mid caps are trading at a decade low relative to big tech. Yeah, but if big tech rolls over, the small get destroyed. OpenAI is chaos dressed up in a $500 billion valuation. Nice. Correct on the points, but let's not pretend you didn't run this through AI and post it. I mean, who cares if he did? That doesn't change his argument. Char GPT. Oh, I agree with this. These are pattern-seeking algorithms. Yeah, well, people get mad at me when I say that. But that's exactly what it is. Even Gen AI, just uses what it's learned about a world model. But whatever. Given the all-cash deal of $82 billion, can you do a DCA of where they might be selling, where the selling might be going? Will they have to dilute a ton? What's price? Well, they're not issuing stock. They're issuing debt. You're talking about Netflix. So, I don't think it's a dilution issue. I think it's debt and an EPS weight. That's the issue, unfortunately. All right. Well, that's interesting. Wow. I mean, talk about a crazy reversal right on the line, man. Ay, ay, ay. Well, we did say by lunchtime in that line, we were live when I was saying it. I think we were here at like 6:14. And I'm like, I think we're going to go to 6:17 and we might U-turn by lunch. All right. What else? The info. TikTok plans big shopping push. U.S. businesses may be about to take off. The scheduled completion of this week's TikTok sale. Take a look at this. Did they get approval on this? Scheduled completion of this week's TikTok sale. Video app. Doubling efforts to make a much bigger e-commerce business. Challenge to Amazon. Really? New U.S. program to attract many established brands to sell on TikTok Shop. I actually think you could probably sell quite well on TikTok. I don't use TikTok, but I can see it. Agencies are participating, will be rewarded, blah, 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 blah. New program. TikTok is trying to seize a new opportunity for growth in the U.S. Yeah, all right. Hassett says he doesn't think the U.S. is pushing allies closer to China. Oh, come on, dude. Shill more, Hassett. Oh, they're talking about OpenAI right here.
Longtime Reed Hastings could afford to be a purist and reject an ad tier because.
All right, fine. Okay, so data center inflation is here. Is this just because of energy or what? Runway finds AI videos are indistinguishable from real videos. Some of them. Building data centers is getting more expensive. Doesn't mean that data centers won't get built. Investors are still enthusiastic. It could mean that these companies see lower returns or projects don't get built or scaled back. Yeah, that's true. Power is the hardest part. Department of Energy. Several governors in the Mid-Atlantic region effectively demanded companies building data centers to agree to 15-year contracts. Oh, they're going to go bankrupt on those contracts. What are the default provisions like in those? Google will intercept. Google is asking federal regulators speed approval of data centers to bring their own power. Okay. Those that can afford to build, it will move ahead. Those that can't will fall behind. Let's see. The company's computing capacity roughly tripled in each of the last 3 years. This is OpenAI. If power was the only higher cost, it could be manageable, but there are others. Financing could be more expensive for two reasons. First, long-term interest rates hit their highest level in more than 4 months this week. Right. Oh, that's actually a good point. As yields go up, it's actually bad for data centers too. Like I always think about the smaller companies. But that's a really good point. So let's go look. Bonds right now. I mean, the 10-year The 10-year is at 4.28. That's pretty high. I mean, I know they've got this stupid banner here that the yield's moving lower, but dude, that's high. Now look, if we go over the last 6 months, it's basically been straight up. Well, 3 months. Last 3 months been straight up. Oh, about that. Maybe that's why Oracle CDSs are jumping. Oops. Okay. Let's go. Where were we? Oh, right here. AI, 300 billion of estimated AI debt this year. Wow, dude. That's insane. That's crazy. Commodities such as copper, demand for metal is expected to keep growing over the decade. AI data centers use far more copper than typical data centers do. Then there are manufactured goods. The wait time for new natural gas turbines is 3 to 4 years, making it a terrific seller's market. Companies boosted margins, profits. Yeah, well, this is why Bloom Energy is doing so well as well. Gas turbines, you know, because they're an alternative. Tripling power, triple something else, losses. Yeah, that's a good point. So 20 billion in revenue with God knows how much of a net loss. Yeah, this person's exactly right on. Okay, what else is out there? Minnesota is the eye of the Trump storm. I don't know how good of that analogy that is, because the eye of the storm isn't the hardest part of the storm. This is the eye wall. The eye of the storm is actually quite calm. I mean, I get what they're saying, but it's a bad analogy, because the eye of the storm, nothing happens in the eye. It's the dead part of the storm. It's the most peaceful 30 minutes. If you've ever been in a hurricane, you know. Obviously, Kyle Cheney has not been in a hurricane before. Newsom wants to fix affordable housing? Oh, okay. Let's see what he says. I'm running some number. Are you talking about Netflix? Netflix, you know, I think Wall Street is underestimating the company. You know, I think the company's going to grow phenomenally in the long term. But yeah, I mean, it's on a terrible downtrend. I mean, that downtrend is showing no signs of abating right now. You go to Netflix, where is it? And look at this on the week chart, right? It's pretty bad. And I mean, it just keeps breaking through every spot. The fact that it's pit stopping here at 82 is kind of nice post earnings. We've hit that twice before. We talked about that this morning in the alpha, that holding that is a possibility. And so we've been holding it. But wow, look at that. Q's back down to 610. We're going right back down to 607. Full circle today. Talk about trading. All right, what is this? What's Newsom trying to do? Few alphabet soups have as many letters as California's system for financing affordable housing. Well, just get the government out of it. I've had enough with TCAC and CD-LAC, OPRs, CalVets, HCDs, and CalHAFAs. Newsom spoke those words in 2020. Now, 6 years of half measures and stalled reforms. The governor has unveiled another proposal to streamline the system. The guy's a dumbass, dude. He doesn't know how to make change happen. He just knows how to make the system more bureaucratic, not less. Guy's a knucklehead, man. You don't need grants to build affordable housing. You know, at the same time, they're like, why is housing so expensive? At the same time as they say that, they're like, oh, by the way, every new home that gets built, we now demand it has at least 5 solar panels. I kid you not. That's the lunacy. Hey, guys, we want more houses, but make sure you put 5 solar panels on top with a whole inverter. Guy's a moron. Let's see here. Train driver killed in second deadly crash in days. Wow. 2 train crashes in days. Japan starts Fukushima plant. Wow, that's crazy. The reactors are coming back. Chernobyl just got turned on. Fukushima just got turned on. Trump's year of anarchy. I mean, I'm not going to read this one right now, but I'm going to keep it open and read it later. It's the evil photo they picked of him. But foreign affairs stuff, not great for a live stream, but very educational, I think. OpenAI CFO responds to Google criticism, touts infrastructure progress at Davos. Why do I not believe them? Like, at all? JP Morgan moves to cut off fintech with questionable customers. Oh. Fintech startup Checkbook began to promise to help banks eliminate paper checks and transform itself. And a company that leveraged its relationship with JP Morgan. JP Morgan recently told Checkbook it was winding down its relationship with the firm rather than face the regulatory risks associated with handling some of the customers, including Venezuelan crypto startups. Leave it to JP Morgan. I don't really care. It's enough reason to hate JP Morgan. We don't need more. Sarah Fryer said the company's custom inference chip is being taped out. Oh, yeah, okay. In other words, ready to start, going to TSM and saying, go ahead and print our chips. It'll be really interesting. I mean, they'll come out with a chip, and then it'll be, like, woefully miserable compared to NVIDIA's capabilities. And that could be, like, the death knell of them there. Sarah, let's see. The final step before manufacturing, touted progress, infrastructure progress. Estimate without permit costs. How much do you think it would cost the state to actually do affordable housing per 100 using? Well, I don't have the state do it. Get the state out of the way. When I ran for governor, the idea was simple. Streamline building permitting and simplify, well, not only streamline the regulations, right? We shouldn't have like every city with different regulations. It should be relatively standard. And then if you had, even pre-done plans of like, hey, you want to do this? No problem. Over the counter permits, ADU approvals were supposed to be done for people to build ADUs, and they said they'd give you, you should be permitted within 90 days. Turned into a lie. It takes people 1 to 2 years to actually get an ADU to break ground in California. So the building departments are understaffed because they're dealing with all this government in affordable housing, which takes a lot of time. Just get the government out of the housing. Take all that money, streamline the permitting process, and you have plenty of building. Let the free market handle it. The government shouldn't be building houses. Anyway, so OpenAI CFO Sarah Fryer said the company's custom inference chip is being taped out. Right. Touted progress of their Stargate infrastructure progress. Fryer pushed back against shots fired by OpenAI. Multiple media outlets was surprised that OpenAI was moving towards ads. I'm trying to create as much optionality as possible. Right, because you're out of money. Early is a weird word because in AI models, you have to be at scale. OpenAI, let's see. It's going to... Yeah, they don't actually have a lot of details here. All right. Fine then. What's the journal got for us today? Chinese EVs blow past Tesla. Yeah, I mean, I really think if we had them here in America, we'd all be driving them. Because they'd be so cheap. But it'll be a while before we get Chinese cars here because of restrictions. Americans are going a whole month without buying anything. Google searches for no buy January. What? I never heard of this. I've heard of like dry January. They're giving up buying anything. No buy January. Eliminate purchases of non-essentials like clothes, skincare products, electronics for all 31 days. Huh. Lock the family's credit card. Basically, it was like, if we don't take some drastic measures and change our behaviors, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. Yikes. That sucks. Low or no buys. I've gained popularity. No buy January. Americans' month-long exercise restraint. I feel like the problem with this is that just ends up leading to binging. You know, after you go through a period of like lacking, then you'll go through a longer period of binging, and you'll probably be even worse off. Oh, this is Maradi's new startup. Yeah, and these are like you're creating these billion-dollar startups, or startups with billion-dollar valuations simply because they have a name. Like, what does Thinking Machines actually do? I'd be really interested to see, because Maradi left OpenAI, and now she has the Thinking Machines Lab. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. See, they can't even figure out what direction the company is supposed to go. Which I think is so interesting. It's like, how does a company, just because of her name, have a multi-billion-dollar valuation because she worked at OpenAI, and they don't even know what direction they're going to go? Maradi startup. Thinking Machines fundraise. Maradi's Thinking Machine is valued at $12 billion. What the hell? Look at this. They raised $2 billion at a valuation of $12 billion, led by the firm Andreessen Horowitz. They just throw money at anything that squawks software and hope some of it sticks. Like, I think their company name should be Spaghetti Company. That's all they do. They throw noodles against the wall. They're the Spaghetti Company. That's it. Soft got fired. All three at wait, what? Given a chance to Maradi responded to this here, doing his job for months. 2 days later, within hours, all three had signed offers to rejoin OpenAI. All three? What three? She was invited. But impromptu, I mean, it was Zoff, another co-founder, and a third employee. Oh. So one of her co-founders, a third employee, and Zoff, they basically bailed and went back to OpenAI. Departures are a sign of how heated the AI race that is consuming hundreds of billions of dollars and transforming the economy is as much of a battle of talent as technology. Soft's firing and decision to join OpenAI with colleagues marks a pendulum swing for Muradi's startup, founded with 20 former OpenAI employees. Multiple issues, blah, blah, blah. Thinking Machines terminated my employment only after they learned I would be leaving the company. Drama. Oh, drama mamas. Muradi spent 6 years at OpenAI, where she earned a reputation for emotional intelligence and a lack of ego. Well, good for her. She helped launch the first project. Okay. Many of the early researchers, including Zoff, that she hired, came from OpenAI's post-training team. Muradi's issues with Zoff started over the summer when she began to suspect that he was having a relationship with a colleague whom he'd lobbied to bring over from OpenAI. So the other person is sleeping their way to the startup. Okay. This is like a TV show, honestly. Company raised $2 billion at $12 billion valuation. There's that same thing. The woman since left the company returned to OpenAI. Zoff told his boss that he had been manipulated by the woman in the relationship. Hey, I got duped. This is so dumb. You gotta be kidding me. Hey, I didn't get fired, guys. I didn't get fired. I only got fired after they realized I was leaving. And yeah, I was sleeping with the girl to get her to come over. When she did, then I got manipulated. We lied about the relationship at first, but then we came clean about it. And then I got manipulated. Oh, man. What does this company even do? Model training product called Tinker. Release of the company's model training product, Tinker. Uh-huh. Oh, and then he was out of the office for 2 months because of illness and death in the family and the holidays. Yeah, I'm just going to go take 2 months off at this $12 billion startup. What a pansy. I mean, based on this story, this guy sounds like a clown. Unhappy about the direction of the company for months. Oh, they left because they were just unhappy. In the meeting, the three voiced their disagreements about the direction of the company. They proposed that Muradi, who had the final say, assign power to Zoff, including having one of the company's most senior executives report to him instead of Muradi. Muradi expressed unhappiness with this productivity. She asked whether they had already committed to jobs elsewhere. Zoff didn't answer. A day after the meeting, Zoff had dinner at a pizzeria with Meta executives. What a douche. Oh, he's talking to OpenAI. He's talking to Meta. Sleeping with people he's trying to recruit. Taking off because the holidays are stressful and, he's sick. This guy's a clown. On Wednesday, he's fired. Dude, I don't blame her for firing his ass. I don't know how much of this story is true, but less than an hour after the firing, OpenAI's CEO for applications posted that Zoff and the others were returning to the company and that negotiations had been underway for several weeks. Oh, that guy's a douche. Douche clown. Oh, man. Get that tea brewing. See, this is how I don't get my steps in every day. I don't even have to get up anymore to fill up my cup. Trump won't use force. Canada flexes. Supreme Court hears case on Trump's attempt to fire governor. We saw that. All right. That's boring. What's over here? Trump rules out using force. We saw that. Berkshire is considering selling $7.7 billion stake of Kraft Heinz. Whoops. Chinese drone components. Oh, yeah. It's a problem. Oh, the Lutnick article is the most read? Yeah, because it's hilarious. $50 billion valuation? They don't even do anything. This was the Zoff thing. Oh, they aim to be valued at $50 billion. Wait, to complete an ambitious funding round. How? Dude, how? This is insane. They don't even do anything. This is such a scam. Thinking machines. Let's see if they talk about Tinker. This is it. This is their website. Introducing Tinker. Tinker is API for developers, researchers. Okay, what is this? Forward, backward. Perform a forward pass and backward pass, accumulating gradient. These are just tools, I guess. Save training progress for resumption. Supported models. Okay. Tinker uses LoRa. Tinker lets us focus on research rather than spending time on engineering overhead. Tinker lets our researchers focus on data sets, algorithms, and environments without the complexities of computed infrastructure. These are probably all written by... Like, I wouldn't be surprised if these people work there. That would be hilarious. Let's look these people up. Tyler Griggs, Berkeley. I'm a third-year PhD student. Wait, so it's a student. This person's not even... It's just a random student. What a fraud. You gotta be kidding me, dude. Berkeley. Literally, student researcher. You've absolutely gotta be kidding me. That's the Berkeley testimonial that they're using? They imply that this is like the entire school is using them. It's just some student who wants a job. Oh my gosh, what a fraud, dude. $50 billion. Dude, there's another one. Look at this shit. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. Princeton. I'm a first-year PhD student. Are you kidding me? What? First-year PhD student. Oh, Tinker lets us focus on research. You're a scam. This guy works at Thinking Machines. This guy literally works at the very company that they're leaving a testimonial for. That guy works there. That guy's a student. This guy's a third-year student. That guy's a first-year student. That guy literally works at Thinking Machines. Oh my gosh. What a fraud. At least this person's an assistant professor. An associate professor. But what does it mean to be an associate professor? Associate professor. I'm an assistant professor. We've contributed, blah, 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 blah. at least this guy's got something. Okay, this guy's at least somewhat credible. He's been an associate professor for 6 years. Fine. Some credibility on that guy. Something. Stanford. Let's try this guy. Stanford. Postdoctoral scholar. So also, you're a student. Is it this guy or this guy? They're both Stanford. They have the same exact name. Postdoctoral researcher for 1 year. Doctoral student until 2023. So he's no longer been a student for 2 years. Now he's a post-student researcher. Got it. Okay. And so we'll make him blue. And then what's this? Aaron Gann. Research. What does it say he works for? This is Aaron Gann. Redwood Research. Redwood Research. I've been using Tinker at Redwood Research. Okay, well, here he is. So, okay. What I really like about Tinker is that you can directly look at the code and understand it and modify it. It's more flexible than other APIs. If Tinker doesn't exist, I likely wouldn't work on this project at all. This account was literally just made. What a fraud. Literally just created the account to shill Tinker. What a scam. That's a scam too, dude. Oh my gosh. Dude, those are your reviews for a $50 billion attempted startup or whatever, $12 to $50 billion, somewhere in there. That's crazy. It's also crazy that the queues basically went full round trip over here. Postdoc is additional training before you go off on your own. This is just like borderline fraud. They have this here. Wow. That's lame. Drama mamas. People have too much money. All right. What else? They ransacked the Capitol. Now they want the government to pay them back? What? Yvonne strained her body against police barricades, crawled through a broken Senate window, and yelled, "Push, push, push," to fellow rioters in the hallway where police officers suffered concussions and broken bones. She insisted she did nothing wrong. A federal judge sentenced her to months in prison and $2,200 in financial penalties for her actions. You have little or no respect for the law or democratic systems, said the judge. Served half her sentence before she was pardoned. But then she went back to court seeking a refund of the $22.75 or $70. It's my money. They took my money. Wow. They authorized the refund. First refund. That's crazy because of the pardon. The ruling overlooked the consequences. Not only did it free them, but it emboldened them to demand payback. Nice. Wow. Okay. This is at 69. Okay. That was... Okay. CEOs say AI is making work more efficient. Employees tell a different story. How much time do you think you're saving each week using AI? Less than 2 hours, 27%. 2 to 4 hours, 20%. CEOs, more than 12 hours. I mean, they're different roles too. Like a CEO has to think and lead more about future ideas. There's more ideating. Track down a dark fleet. So I think that's hard to adjust for that. Montana's most expensive real estate. Huh, where's this? These look beautiful. Love the ceilings. Big Sky, mountain community. Huh. Median list price of $3 million per homes on realtor.com. Big Sky. Oh, this is starting to look a little... Actually, it looks nice. What's the weather? Oh, this looks nice. Oh, Montage, Big Sky. Wait, but that... Is that Montage Big Sky? Property ownership at Montage Big Sky. That looks just like the Montage in Park City. That's almost the same design, I feel like. I mean, it's covered in snow, so it's hard to see, but... Montage Park City... Oh, do they not have like a good picture? It doesn't matter. Oh, there's one. So, back to the journal. Yeah, so I was only able to find this blurry picture. But see this blurry with the sort of like triple peak roofs? Wouldn't be surprised if you had a similar architect here. See all these different peaks over here? That's Montage Deer Valley with the square windows down here. See? All the square windows and rooms. Here are the peaks. Very similar. That's very interesting. Montage Big Sky. I wonder what the weather's like out there. Do they actually have snow? It's the problem right now is where's the snow? No. No snow. It's cold over there. Ugh. Alright. I lived there after high school as a ski bum. Dude, I'm jealous. Good for you. Ski, just bumming it. It sounds fun, man. I think you gotta look back at that and think of it as a positive. Alright, anyway, I gotta go. I got some HouseHack stuff I got to do. Remember, we did briefly open up the round again to February 6th, same round. And I'm going to be throwing $1 million into it. Hope to see you there. All right, I got to go. And good luck out there. And we'll see you next one.